Good morning!
Good morning. Wow, what an amazing day.
Today in early 2023, I'm ranking my Apple ecosystem, or the walled garden.
How cool is that?
So that was all recorded in Miami, and now I'm in Tallahassee starting my sophomore spring semester. And before I talk about my Apple ecosystem, I want to talk about how I would build my ecosystem if I was starting from zero, because now that technology is maturing, Apple's not really releasing any innovative products, maybe innovative services, even though I don't have any of their services. I've tried Apple TV Plus. The shows I've watched on there were pretty good, and I've had Apple Music before the switch to Spotify. And I got to say, if I was building my own ecosystem from scratch, there's some really appealing options. And I'm going to have like two different tiers. One is just like the basic intro, and then maybe basic plus, because Apple likes their services so much now, even though I'm not subscribed to a single one, and that's including you, 5 gigabyte iCloud plan. For the basic plan to building the Apple ecosystem, I would buy an iPhone 11, which is around $200 to $300. My mom right now has a iPhone 7 Plus, and she is still using that daily. So if my mom could do that, then a lot of people can use the iPhone 11, which has the new Face ID and the notch. Sure, the screen is LCD and not that great of resolution, but for the Apple ecosystem, and you probably get a few more years of software updates, you'll take it. And then I'll also buy $200 AirPods Pro, the newest one, but not straight from Apple. You could get them for like $10, $20 cheaper elsewhere. And then I would also buy the Apple Watch Series 4 or 5 or 6, not like used, but like refurbished or Amazon renewed, something like that. And you could find that for around $100, maybe $150. And that comes to around $500 in total. I'll total the whole thing up right here, which has results straight from the internet. And with that ecosystem, you got your base set. The reason why I recommend the Apple Watch Series 4 and newer and not like 3 or 2, because the 4 has a really nice screen update. Before, it was just like a rectangle with non-rounded corners, which was like the ugliest thing. Anyway, if you want to go to the basic plus, which this has a budget of like $1,500, yeah, it's a lot more money, but then you're getting like the full ecosystem experience. So then I would say the 2018 iPad Pro, which you could get for around $400 to $500, and then I would say the M1 MacBook Air, which you could get for around $800, like refurbished. So that concludes how I would build my ecosystem. Now let's talk about my current ecosystem. This is like my first ever ranking video. I know that these are popular on the internet in like the last few years. So we're going to start from like the worst tier and build all the way up until the S tier. Everything I'm reviewing is the current products I have in my ecosystem. They're not the past products. They're not like my iPhone 3GS or my iPhone 6S that I used to have, or the AirPods first generation that came out in like 2016. No, these are the current products I'm using. Back when I was making the idea for this video, I did not think that Apple would ever release like a new large HomePod, but Apple did, and Apple didn't change much. So you can infer what my opinion is on the new HomePod if I'm placing the HomePod I have now in D tier. And like the malfunction of the HomePod can be seen with my current living situation. So I live in an apartment where the apartment has a shared Wi-Fi. So because of that, Apple AirPlay does not work on my HomePods. And I don't have Apple Music. So you know what that means? I can't use the HomePod at all. Or to, let's say, Spotify, I could just ask the HomePod to play music and it could. Or if the HomePod supported Bluetooth, like my $40 Bluetooth speaker, then I could play music from the HomePod. But because I don't have Apple Music, and with the Wi-Fi I currently have, I don't have AirPlay, I can't use my HomePods at all for the time being. So for that reason, it has to land in D tier. And the next one is iPad OS 16. This is just a meme at this point. Why can't like the M1, A12X, M2 iPads have Final Cut Pro or like Xcode, so you could code on the iPad? Like I see these people with like Magic keyboards with the beautiful 13-inch OLED iPad with 120 hertz. But it's just, everyone says it's confined to the constraints of the software. And please, please, Apple, tell me, where is the calculator app?
Who's to say?
Of course, you could just say, oh, there's some third-party calculator apps on the App Store. But do you know why it's worse quality? Because you have to sit through some ads or pay a subscription. That's why you built a native messages app, a native camera app. You don't want to have to pay for extra features to get rid of ads or to just unlock certain things within the app. So please release a calculator app. I actually use the calculator app on my iPad at least once a month. So I would definitely take advantage of the actual native calculator app, and I'll be happy to delete the one I currently have where I have to sit through ads after every computation. And not only that, I know like the iPadOS team does not exist in Apple because they're always just like a year late with all of these iOS features to implement it into iPadOS 16. So iOS got the beautiful lock screen wallpaper customizations. You could set multiple ones, set different fonts, set widgets on the screen. And you know how big the iPad screen is to easily just put widgets on there. But no, the lock screen customizations aren't going to come until iPadOS 17 because the Apple iPadOS team is lazy. And in general, for all the like macOS, iOS, watchOS, and iPadOS, everything that has a battery that's not running off an external power source, please bring charging limits, because I would love to charge all my products to like 80% and then just set them to charge when they're at like 20 or 30 so I could keep everything in pristine battery health. Please, Apple, please. And come on, optimize battery charging. I know it's useless, but come on, that should at least be on the iPad too. And by the way, I can't review macOS Ventura with the like new iPhone like camera as the MacBook camera, that's like the biggest feature, because my MacBook Pro is from 2016. So that's right, it's now 7 years old and it's no longer getting software updates, which means my MacBook Pro has lasted a long time. So that brings us to where the MacBook Pro is. It is in the B tier. And I really do like my MacBook Pro. I would say I'm definitely satisfied with my whole Apple ecosystem. I didn't add anything to it in 2022, and I'm probably not going to add anything to it in 2023 unless anything breaks, and then I would have to probably buy the newest version of it. Maybe in 2024, I'll probably buy the new AirPods Pro 2 or AirPods Pro Generation 2, I think. They're released in 2022, probably in 2024. And maybe I'm looking to buy a new iPhone with USB-C, a 5X or 10X periscope camera. That would be amazing. And then the larger like plus size screen, so like the 6.7 inch screen. I definitely want to buy the iPhone like 15, maybe 16, maybe 17 when all those features come out for that. But why is the MacBook Pro in B tier? Well, I love it for just obviously consuming entertainment, just listening to music, like some lo-fi beats, which I was doing yesterday in one of my like lab classes where it's pretty much like self-taught, and just doing like normal homework on Canvas, which is what my school uses, or coding. I did some simple coding for like a C++ intro class last semester. So school stuff, check mark, it's great. All this audio is going straight to my MacBook Pro right now, which is not something that I could do for the iPad. Or at least I could do it, but it won't really show me like what's happening because you can't really see, like can't choose which audio source for input. And I edit all my videos on iMovie there. I'm kind of seeing like some signs of it being old, but honestly, the design, which came out in 2016 brand new, the 2015 design looks like super old. But the 2016 design with USB-C, that's probably the most futuristic part. And I just can't believe, like, if I bought AirPods today, in 2023, it still doesn't have USB-C. It has a Lightning port, which kind of blows my mind. But the MacBook Pro is great. A lot of people complain about the keyboard. I guess I'm just so accustomed to it that it's perfectly adequate for me. I wish I had a little bit more computation speed. iMovie exports take a long time. Sometimes the iMovie app crashes. Sometimes things just hang. It's not as snappy as I would like it. But I'm probably going to buy a new MacBook in a couple years whenever this breaks. The battery life is still decent. I got a free battery replacement by Apple, which is great, like halfway through having this laptop. And the screen does look great. No complaints with the screen. Apparently it gets way better with the new MacBook Pros. So maybe I would probably get like the 2023 MacBook Pro that released this year. Maybe in 2 years, get it refurbished, get the 16-inch size, because I have the 13-inch size, and to me it's fine. I would maybe prefer a bigger size. It's not like a must, but if I could have it, I'll take it. So the next product in the B tier is something I kind of own. I bought for my brother, but whenever I'm home back in Miami, I do use it, and this is the HomePod Mini, which you can now get for like $80 or even less. And I love the HomePod Mini. It's actually great sound quality. It's about like 70% of the sound quality of the regular HomePod at a third of the price. So like 30% roughly of the price of the OG HomePod. And the HomePod Mini sounds great. Like I said, still suffers from the Apple ecosystem lockdown of only Apple Music supported and only AirPlay supported, no Bluetooth or Spotify. So you kind of really have to be in the Apple ecosystem to use it. If I had a normal house Wi-Fi, I would just use AirPlay all the time and use handoff, which is a very neat feature. But I can't. HomePod Mini comes in some pretty wacky colors. In 2023, we all know that personal assistants were overrated. Everyone was freaking out about the Google Assistant and Alexa back in 2015 when it was all new. It was like, oh, this is so cool. Assistant can answer questions. But it's pretty basic compared to things like ChatGPT, which are far more advanced now. But to ask you a simple question about the weather, setting timers, I do that all the time, even though I could just do it with my watch now, which I'll get to that. And then another software that lands in the B tier is WatchOS 9. It's not like horrible. It's just like nothing really new changed with WatchOS 9 other than some like a new sound for the ping for like the iPhone. That's like a new ping sound. That's new to WatchOS 9. That was pretty neat. What else was new to WatchOS 9? I think the sleep stages feature in the sleep app, which is sometimes accurate, sometimes not. Can't really tell when I'm awake or not. And yeah, that's really it. Another thing is like you have to press and hold now, like the digital crown in to like release water or release it from sleep. It takes longer, but it's more like secure. Like you get more sense that it's actually trying to release, which I guess is a better thing. But WatchOS 9, nothing really changed. I'm still not using the Apple workout app. I'm using Nike Run Club, or I could use Strava one day. So those running features that they added into WatchOS 9, I don't really take advantage of. But yeah, WatchOS 9, it's good. I agree. It's great. I have the same wallpaper all the time, and it actually matches with my Nike watch band that Apple partnered with. So it's got the nice light blue watch face with the light blue watch band. So it's just a perfect color combination. And honestly, it's probably my favorite color, this type of blue. Now moving on to the A tier, we have the AirPods Pro from 2019. I remember back when AirPods first released and Apple removed the headphone jack, everyone was like, oh my gosh, they look so horrible. They look like a toothbrush. Cepilla de dientes en tus orejas. And I was just like, they don't get it. They don't get the Apple ecosystem. Apple AirPods are just so much better than every other product because of the convenience. This is where the Apple ecosystem comes in, where you just flick open the case and it just connects like that. You could share to multiple AirPods with the same Apple device. I'm pretty sure you could do that with most devices now, with like the new Bluetooth like 5.0 standard or 6.0 standard, something like that. The new Bluetooth standard unlocked that capability. But the way Apple does it is just the Apple magic of the ecosystem. And AirPods Pro, it's not the best quality, but it's like just good enough, and the convenience, how light they are, how they could just fit in your pocket. They're not over-ear headphones that can't fit in your pocket. I always have my AirPods like in the left pocket of my body and then my phone in the right pocket, and that just works so perfectly for me. And whenever I want to listen to music, just pop it out, bam. The battery life has never really been a problem for me. You're always just putting them back into the case, whether it's like I go on like a 1 hour run or I'm listening to music for like 3-4 hours. Like, that's enough. Sure, would I love like the noise cancellation to get better? Sure, but it did in the newest version, which I'm excited to try when I eventually buy it. And the biggest problem I had with the original AirPods is that because they're so small and convenient, that they're really easy to lose. And I've gone on some missions where I've lost my AirPods for like an hour or two just looking all around the house, and it's like, oh, it's in this one spot. But now with the new AirPods, they have the AirTag like functionality where you could just ping it with some speakers or do the super cool AirTag thing, which I'll talk about with your phone, and just slowly walk up to it. So I love the original AirPods Pro, and I sure love what Apple did with the Generation 2 AirPods Pro. So the next thing in the A tier is my iPhone 12. I bought this in full because I'm never going to pay any interest or get locked into unnecessary contracts with T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T. Mint Mobile with Deadpool is the way to go, just $15 a month if I had to pay for my own cellular. So here's my iPhone 12. By the way, I run with all my products caseless. So I don't have a case on my watch, my AirPods, my phone, my iPad, my laptop. I used to, but over time, you just got to appreciate the exteriors of all these Apple devices. And I love the iPhone 12. I mean, I love all the gesture controls without the home button. I love the edge-to-edge display. I really do like the flat edges of the iPhone 12. That got me super excited between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12. And I didn't rank this, but I have the MagSafe charger for the iPhone 12. And I love it and I adore it so much. I actually can't charge my iPhone 12 with wired charging because the port doesn't work. So even if there was a USB port, I probably wouldn't use it to charge it because I love MagSafe that much. I'd probably just maybe use it for data transfer, to just plug in a USB-C to SD card converter and just get my photos on the camera or like a drone super easily. And overall, I love the iPhone 12 experience. I think I've dumped my phone in water a couple times because the speakers are nowhere near the original sound quality in the speakers. So that's a lesson. Probably not put your phone in water. The camera is really good. The video is fantastic. The video is exactly what I need in an iPhone camera. It doesn't really have to get much better than that. And I'm sure it's going to. So I'm amazed with that. The speed of the iPhone is great. I would wish for slightly better battery life, but overall I can't complain. It gets me through a full day when it's fully charged, which I don't want it to be fully charged, but Apple makes you do that. And the next product in A tier is the Apple Watch Series 7. To be honest, I had the Apple Watch Series 4 like last year, and in August I went into the ocean with it. You know, it's supposed to be waterproof, but it broke because of water got inside it. You could like hear the water if you shake it. And honestly, I wasn't probably going to buy an Apple Watch for a couple months after that because I could live without an Apple Watch. But I was talking about this with my friend. If my AirPods broke like today, tomorrow I would go out and buy AirPods, the newest version. Is that because it's slightly cheaper? Not really. I just think I get more value from my AirPods than my Apple Watch. But either way, they're both in this tier. And the Apple Watch I love for its activity tracking. Yes, I use it for time, which is the number one use case of a watch. But for activity tracking, I love just tracking every run with the Nike Run Club app. Having that Nike Run Club widget on my like home screen, seeing how many miles I did in the month. It's quite motivating. You kind of get proud of yourself at times, and other times you're like, I got to pick it up. Something I use almost every single day with the Apple Watch other than just like the run tracking and the activity tracking with the rings, which is always a great thing. I love using it for timers, whether it's a pasta timer or a timer for my rest in between like me doing bench at the gym. I love using it for timers. I don't use it every night to track my sleep, but most nights I track my sleep with the watch, see that I got like 7 hours and 30 minutes. And I love using my Apple Watch to track my sleep because when I wake up and I need an alarm, it doesn't wake up my girlfriend who I sleep with. So having this silent alarm that's just like vibrating her wrist automatically wakes you up, but doesn't wake the other person up. So I love that subtle, neat feature of the Apple Watch. Other than those, like 3 or 4 things I just mentioned, I don't really use my Apple Watch for that much else. Like I occasionally call people on it. I occasionally text people on it. I occasionally like pull out the calculator and do some stuff on it. I never really use any third-party apps other than the Nike Run Club. I don't think I use any other one. Maybe Spotify, maybe the ESPN to check scores. And the whole idea of you having Apple Watch Cellular and that's like your main phone and you leave like your iPhone back at home, that's kind of a flop of an idea. I tried that, didn't really work too well. Now we're to the S tier. So in the S tier, I have AirTags, and one of my regrets in 2023 is that I did not attach an AirTag to my bike that was stolen a week ago. How nice. I wish I put an AirTag on the bike, like duct taped it around. So because the AirTag experience is so phenomenal. It's just like the epitome of the Apple ecosystem right behind the AirPods. So, you know, I said like sometimes I lose my AirPods and I spend like 1 to 2 hours looking for it. Well, that can be the same with your TV remote, right? But now, look, I taped an AirTag to my TV remote so that I'll never lose it again. Because with the U1 chip, I think on like the iPhone 12 and newer, maybe it's on the iPhone 11, you just scan your iPhone around and it just like, with that taptic feedback on the iPhone 12, you just get this buzzing sound as you slowly get close to it. And the AirTag has its own little speaker too. So all these AirTag features came on the new AirPods Pro 2, which is one of the things that makes that product amazing. That and charging magnetically on the Apple Watch charger and MagSafe. But the last product in S tier is iOS 16. I love the new wallpaper. How you could just switch in between different wallpapers at any time. You could just store them, which makes so much sense. I love the new basic time font in iOS 16. And by the way, with Apple services, they're also expanding, I guess, into more advertising too. So they have like ads in like the Apple Store. And Apple's probably going to move into selling some ads through Apple Maps. But I don't mind at all because Apple Maps is gorgeous. Like in my mind, the perfect car software is like Tesla everything. But instead of Google Maps, just replace that with Apple Maps. Because I love all the green, vivid colors on Apple Maps. And if you go to like a major city like Miami or San Francisco or New York City, they have that beautifully detailed in like 3D with a bunch of colors that are just eye-popping and just wow. Other than that, and maybe like the messages, how you can just like edit a text or delete it, which I've already used a bunch of times because that's very useful and humans have typos a lot. iOS 16, it's not revolutionary in any mind. It's just like those slight features that make your phone feel new that I don't think Android devices quite get the same feeling. iOS 16 did bring the battery percentage to the top right of the phone, but like in 16.1, they like changed it to like a ugly version of it. So that's why I'm probably not going to upgrade my iPhone until like iOS 17. Shout out to my home layout on my iPhone. And this is a good question to ask people. What bottom 4 apps do you have on your phone? Because I have like Spotify, Duolingo, Be Real, which will probably get removed soon. I don't really use that anymore. Does anyone remember when widgets first came out, even though it was like very recent? I love widgets. They're great. I have a Duolingo widget and it's hilarious and other people love it too. Oh, I do love picture-in-picture on iOS 16. Did it come in iOS 15? Either way, I do love the new picture-in-picture with like YouTube or any other thing, any other media. You just go and do something else. The one key thing that's notable that's missing in my ecosystem, I guess you could say I'm missing like a desktop Mac. But if I do get a desktop, it would be a PC. But to one day connect my stereo HomePod pair to the Apple TV is something I'm looking forward to one day.
Who is in there?
Oh wait,
The little gnomes in there that are working the camera.
Oh, so it won't take
That
a
one
picture
was
if your
so-
face is too close.
That one's so funny. Or the
Why?
big gulp.
Falls episodes like yesterday.